RFK Jr., love him or hate him, all he really wants to do is find out the truth. He's not going to go cancel all the vaccines and kids are going to die. I'm just letting you know that right now. He is just wants to get into the truth. I mean, let's find out the truth. What if, let's just say, what if he pulls out the truth, actually shows it to us, and all this autism is caused by the vaccines? Wouldn't you want to know the truth? I have been doing some investigating for the past 7 years. I'm 57 years old, and I'm going to tell you right now, I have done everything wrong my entire life. And now you don't have to. So I was, raised in poverty. I have a third grade education. Yeah, I graduated high school with a third grade education. That's in one of my first videos. So, drug that leads to what? Drug addiction, obviously. I got nothing to fall back on. I got into construction out of high school, worked hard, but I never ate right. I never treated my body right. My father's, the main thing my father taught us kids was, well, if it makes you feel good, do it. So if it makes you feel good and you do it, it's probably going to kill you if you do too much. So what that brings me to now is I was completely unhealthy. Cholesterol off the charts, hypoglycemic. When I was about 34 years old, I met my wife now, Annalisa, and she's a registered dietitian. And I was talking to her one day and I started getting hungry, and so I start shaking. And she's like, "Why are you shaking?" I said, "Oh, I got to eat right now. Once I get hungry, I start shaking." And she's like freaking out. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're hypoglycemic. You need to eat. You need to get some sugar in your system." And so we go and eat. I say, "Yeah, I always have to have food around me because I have to have a supply of food all the time. I never could do that intermittent fasting or fasting, and I want to so bad." And then with years of investigation, what I found out is the American diet is called the SAD diet. It's the standard American diet. And so I quit eating all the carbs and I quit eating the sugar. So bread is it's a horrible sugar. It goes right into your system faster than raw sugar does. So you once I got out of that, I didn't like go all keto. You can actually go into ketosis and be a vegetarian. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian either. I just have a fine line. So I studied from Mark Hyman. He did functional medicine, and I listened to everything Dave Asprey has. He's the bulletproof coffee guy. Those guys are nuts when it comes to health. They have every single thing. They monitor their systems, everything they eat, every time they go to sleep. They get their blood work done weekly. I mean, it's crazy what they do. They have discovered the truth about food. And uh, so my hypoglycemia that's a bunch of bull. That's a lie from the government. My poor wife, she's starting to get it, but she's teaching me. The same people that taught her, that teach the dietitians, are the same people that taught Dr. Fauci. So, I mean, hey, if we're going to study vaccines, we should study them all. We were right about those vaccines and ivermectin and all that stuff. So, what happens is now I can fast. I can go 16 hours. I do my intermittent fasting, and for the first time in my life, I can get hungry. I never knew what hungry was. I was always just starving. So in my investigations, I'm going to let you know there's two shows I want you to watch to go deeper for you, to get into this one science thing, two sciences. So one is this Australian guy made this movie called The Sugar Film, and I'll put a link to it down in the description. So he just goes about, he's a very healthy now. He doesn't eat anything with a label. He exercises every day. And he's like, how come all the food in the grocery store says healthy and we get more unhealthy? So the healthier our food, the more unhealthy we get. And so he did all the tests on his body, his blood work, and went on a diet for, I think it was 3 months. and he ate the same amount of calories and tried to exercise every day. And all he did was now eat healthy foods. So it was all packaged food and it all had to say healthy. Low carbohydrates, low fat, low sugar, healthy this, healthy that. So he started eating that, and I mean, his taste buds went nuts. He was like, "Ooh, this is awesome." But within a few days, he didn't feel like exercising anymore. You could watch his body fall apart. Within the 3 months, his doctors were like, "You can't do this any longer. You're dying." So watch that show. It's The Sugar Film, and the link will be below. It really shows you the truth. He's got an investigative team. He talks to people who work in the food industries. When they're in the processing plants, in the factories where they come up with all your recipes and all these wonderful recipes that we like, and we go down the aisle and we see stuff. It's like that has something to do with food. When you go into the plant, you'd think there'd be shelves of food and scientists and tasters and putting things together, but it looks like the coronavirus lab. I mean, it looks like Wuhan in there. They're all wearing their garb. There is no food in the place. It's all test tubes and laboratory equipment, and they are so designing the food to manipulate your brain and your gut that it's phenomenal. So I wrote a book called Your Great Reset, and it's all in there. But the fact is, I want to get people to be able to sustain their diet, not by starving themselves, but by creating a hatred towards the big sugar industries, the big food industries. I'm telling you, think of them the same. In fact, big tobacco, once they finally got railed on and started losing money, they didn't just disappear. The Palmolive, those people, they're not just losing money because people quit smoking or are slowing down on the smoking. They buying all the big food companies, and they're using the same tactics that they did with tobacco in our food industry. In fact, Weight Watchers bought out by Big Tobacco. That other one that was competing with Weight Watchers. All those companies, anyone who starts taking a part of their product, they buy it so they can manipulate it and make their money. So from Big Tobacco, big food, big sugar, big government, it doesn't matter. If it's got a big board meeting, then they think of you as a product, a disposable product. So they don't care about your health, and they're all invested in big pharma. And this isn't any conspiracy stuff. This is just facts. I no longer have hypoglycemia, and I can not only fast, but I got rid of brain fog. I thought I had a normal life and I was eating healthy. I just thought I had to live with this. You don't have to live with it. I thought it was normal. It's not normal. Low energy in the afternoon, brain fog in the afternoon. It's not normal. Your brain thinks it's normal because it's how you grew up. It's how you live. So the reset is resetting your body, resetting your mind to get a hold of it, and moving forward. So what happens is there's one more movie. It's The Chemicals Poisoning Your Food Exposed. There'll be a link for that down inside the description also. So that show is a little documentary that's going to take you through the big chemical industry and show you how they get this food passed. I mean, they could create crackberries for kids' cereals. All they have to do is give the EPA a test to show that it was tested in a laboratory, and they get to pay for. So the big food company gets to pay for the laboratory test. They get to pick the lab guy and the doctor and the testers, and they're like, "Here's a big stack of cash. Could you test this for me?" And they will figure out a way to make it work. Like, yeah, this won't kill your kid, because they're assuming if they're eating it in their little crackberry cereal, the label says to only eat a quarter of quarter of a cup, and let's see, if you have a quarter of a cup a day over the next 5 years, you're only going to have this much, so it won't hurt you. What they don't put into the packaging, what they don't put into their thought pattern is it's almost in every cereal, every kid's product. And so it's not just that quarter cup in the crackberries, it's in every one of their foods, in every one of their products. And so the accumulation that they're having is huge. That's another thing. I was hyperactive and a bedwetter when I was a kid. All that stuff is due to my diet. I used to run down and buy those 32-ounce sodas, get a big soda. And when I went into construction, I'd get the 32-ounce soda, big coffee, some donuts, and I would work my tail off all day. So it's just these films are going to expose this for you, just so you know that what RFK Jr. is doing is legit. We do want to know. Once you start digging into this, once you realize that they don't have your best interest at heart, trust me on that. They don't care. Unless you're a big donor, and then they'll care. They'll get you some crackberries put on your kid's shelf, I guarantee it. So anyway, when I walk down the aisle at the grocery store now, I look at that stuff and I'm not at all like I used to. I'm not all triggered and want to buy it. My saliva glands don't go. In fact, I start walking down there and I get angry. I think, crack dealer, drug dealer, drug dealer. Why are they want me to spend my hard-earned money to buy their products to purposely poison me? And that's not right. And I don't believe it's right. So come back. There's some other videos on mastering the mind. We're going to start doing some more videos on food and some videos on fitness. So link those two links down there in the description. We'll get you more information on what we were talking about, those links. And hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, ring the bell, and come back and see what else we got. Leave in the comments what you want to learn about. So I'll do the investigation while you go and do your job, and then come back in the evenings and get some really deep dives, some really good information on the things that affect you. Thank you, and welcome to Your Great Reset.